So episode 4 of Krypton is here, has been here, and it was a good episode. I feel like it still didn't add too much onto the series, but it was still pretty good. But what I will say is that ending, oh my god, that ending. But if you want to see me talk about that ending, then I guess you're going to have to watch a little bit more of this video. Because before we get into this video, everybody, hello, my name is BobaTalks. Welcome to the BobaTalks channel. And if you're new here, why not subscribe for more Krypton videos like this? Because we're doing a review after all, and we are covering it. And if you do go ahead and like this video, then maybe like it if you do actually end up liking it, because I really appreciate the support. But no, yeah, this episode 4, where it started off with the voice of Rao, talking about how they're going to move the Nova Cycle celebrations or whatever forward somewhat, because I feel like the voice of Rao in this episode is getting a bit worried about several different things, and I felt like in this episode it also confirmed that the voice of Rao isn't, you know, controlled by Brainiac. Now, up until the very end, that is. But if you know what I'm talking about, I've even spoke about it in my previous breakdowns. There was a little bit of a fan theory saying, what if Brainiac is somehow tied to the voice of Rao? But I even thought it wasn't after the end of, during last episode, because what is the point of the Sentry, the Brainiac probe, coming to Earth to discover if Krypton, going to Krypton, discovering Krypton, if you know, Brainiac was already there? Do you know what I mean? That's where that theory ended for me. But now, the voice of Rao, at the end of the episode, God, freaking God, but I guess, you know, we can't talk about it just yet. This episode was kind of quite heavily featured upon with the voice, the episode itself is called The Word of Rao. And you know, there was moments in the episode where it's going among the people, and they were getting kind of heated, you know, the rankless even, and obviously the voice of Rao wants to be this, you know, all-loved figure. It's very... Man, I really can't stand Krypton society. I really can't freaking stand it. They're so stubborn, they're arrogant, they're prideful, they think they're such above everything else, and I know that's because they are such an advanced race who've got to the point where they don't even freaking, you know, make their own kids. And yeah, there's all of that. I know it's meant to be like that, but God, man, I really hate the race in terms of, like, the society. Apart from the rankless, I guess, because they're just actually humble, down-to-earth people, so to speak. But the voice of Rao is just like, you know, I can't have this. We need somebody to blame for the events in that what happened last episode where the rankless person died. And what did I say in my last review, guys? I feel like it was extremely predictable. I guess we can move on to a little bit of lighter Zod now. Is that she would be getting backlash for what she did last episode. Her mother was basically nailing into her, saying you disobeyed a direct order, blah blah blah, you arrested one of your own, and you know, a rankless got killed. Basically, who cares? You shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that, even though Lighter Zod is the most probably moral Zod I've ever come across, ever. And yeah, this is honestly, like, I've got in my notes, honestly, Krypton, because it's just like the voice of Rao was just like, yeah, we need to basically stage somebody to be responsible, just get whoever so they can just love me basically and have somebody else to blame. And that was Lighter Zod in her review. She was charged with treason. It's just like, really? And guess who this was all down to as well? Now, who was the word of Rao's, or the voice of Rao's, sorry, the voice of Rao's little bitch boy? DownVex, the guy who I call Dickface, to be honest. The guy who is a coward. I have some good things to say about his daughter, at least in this episode, but like, there was also stuff revealed about the Vex's plans to you know, kind of rise up in Krypton. But yeah, it typically is DownVex. I really don't like this character. I mean, they're doing a good job, because I'm not supposed to like him, you know, that evidently. But really, what got revealed in the episode with him, and I really like this, and it kind of gave us a bit more of understanding why the House of Vex, especially DownVex, is being such a pain in the ass, is because he wants to overthrow the voice of Rao, and his daughter actually revealed that. And this whole time, and for a long time even, he's been appealing to the, you know, different houses, elites, you know, like the leads of all the houses, getting them under his thumb a little bit, or at least getting their trust, to a point where one day he can overthrow them. Even though his daughter is very, how do I say it, is very, I don't know how to say it, just as ambitious as her father to basically overthrow the voice of Rao. At least she had a little bit of morals. I know she was only doing it kind of for seg for one reason, but she offered to help out in this episode, Lighter, because she was innocent, and she went back to her father, and she was like, why would you do this, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, blah blah blah. I get it. that was an okay, interesting storyline. I found it kind of interesting, but yeah, again, it was very predictable after what happened in the events of last episode. I honestly felt the vibes here of a little bit of a Game of Thronesy Krypton going on with the whole Vex house, with what they're trying to do and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it, I guess, to see where it's going. I feel like they are gonna get somewhere before they are kind of, you know, they do crumble and fall and Seg, you know, kind of crushes them. But I feel like they're gonna kind of be, obviously, I think they even will be successful potentially in taking down the voice of Ra at some point. I guess we'll have to wait and see, and then Seg will have to deal with that alongside Brainiac. But we'll have to wait and see for that, I guess. This episode was a bit more interesting, I felt, than previous episodes. And as I said in what I've done with each review, I feel like each episode is marginally improved on the last one. Saygo, this is where I felt like there was a bit more action this episode. Saygo has been captured by basically Walter from Arrow, which made me laugh, found quite interesting. Now we're just gonna call him Walter for the sake of easiness, because all the L's and the different freaking Kryptonian names. But yeah, it was interesting. He captured Saygo, and there was a bit of origins as well, how Black Zero's actually funded this kind of rankless initiative he's got going on here, with weaponry and stuff, because it seems that he already is aware of Brainiac. Now, I found his character quite interesting. We still don't know a whole bunch about him apart from what I've already said, but he also gave this bug basically to Saygo to infect to kind of cause a lot of trouble with a Kryptonian mind. However, it doesn't work on sentries sent from Brainiac, and that's how you know if somebody is basically infected or is taken over by one of Brainiac's probes or sentries even. I'm also not so sure if this guy is going to be a massive ally to us or Seg even, or our side of things, because he seems very extremist in terms of, I think he wants to protect Krypton and everything from Brainiac, but literally one of his own men touched Saygo and he snapped his neck, and he was like, nobody touches Saygo apart from me. And it's just like, okay, what, you're gonna kill your own guys for that? This is what I mean. And Saygo ended up escaping in this episode anyway, because he really I felt like he not only felt threatened, but he needed to get out there. And this was all after making a deal with him that he would help him if they helped him break out Lighter Zod from, obviously, execution that would have happened because of the charge of treason. I love the scenes in between that, though. The fight scenes where Saygo was going up against one of the, I think the Rankless Initiative, they're called, one of their men, or should I say women, because he actually even ended up using that bug against her, and I thought that was really quite a brutal tactic, because she was just laying there like fitting when that bug was causing all, unspeakable torture on her mind. I think the main reason why Seg wanted to escape is because ultimately this guy wouldn't be convinced that Rom is going to be okay in Seg's care or Val-El's care at the fortress until he basically split her head open and basically just kill her to eliminate the threat or something like that. And yeah, I guess they could have broke Lighter Zod out, and I don't think that's still going to happen, but Saygo still just wanted to protect Rom, so I think that was a fake deal, which is why he ended up escaping anyway. But I kind of like what he said, Walter said to Saygo, in terms of how history will remember your decisions, Seg. And that is true. Like, everything that is happening this season, it symbolizes that if it wasn't for Saygo, then Superman probably wouldn't be alive. Well, he won't. He wouldn't have been. He just won't be alive in this universe. So yeah, I just thought that was a cool line. Now Adam Strange just continues to give me more and more reasons to be my favorite character. He dropped quite a few, like, well, a couple of Easter eggy kind of things. He dropped R2-D2. He's like, oh, I've always kind of wanted my own droid, you know, like more like R2-D2. But you know, I guess, you know, a holographic grandpa or something like that is okay. I love that. And he also said to Val-El, I guess, you know, when he was talking about his names, because I think Val-El called him Strange, but he was just like, yeah, you know, I guess Doctor or something like that. Actually, no, just better Adam, because of obviously Doctor Strange from Marvel. I loved all of this. I just love Adam Strange. He's not only interesting, he's just so funny, and I feel like, as I've said in my previous reviews, he is us basically in the show, and he's what makes us laugh from the Earth side of things. Also have to talk about Kem this episode. I quite liked his storyline. It was very sweet with Rom's daughter. Now she actually ends up after going to an offering, they both go to an offering, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the voice of Rao kind of trying to shift forward the Nova cycle to kind of, I guess, like, I don't know, big himself up, but also keep a little bit of the peace with the rankless. Rom's daughter quickly shoves past the audience and offers up the statue to the voice of Rao, and obviously everyone, the Sagittarius, like, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? But then the voice of Rao is like, no, wait, this could be a good PR move, you know. I'm gonna embrace this little girl and take her offering, and I'm gonna seem really loving to the people. And so he took the statue and declared Rom's daughter a novice word of Rao, which I thought was quite sweet. But there was something very much more interesting that ties along with this story, especially with the statue, and what I mentioned at the beginning is what happened at the freaking end with the voice of Rao. It was absolutely insane. Now, one of the most important things we kind of learned from Walter in this episode was the reason why he's so, not only is Brainiac obviously to be feared, but the reason why he's so paranoid about this sentry being protected by Saygo, which is Rom, is because the threat isn't always eliminated when you think it is. The parasite will actually often try and find an even more powerful host. And what happened when the voice of Rao came back in his own room and he was chilling, and he's probably like, you know, I've had a good day, let's have a look at this statue that, you know, I guess I've pleased the people. And then all of a sudden he gets pricked by the freaking parasite thing, and he gets taken over just like Rom did, and now he is, for all intents and purposes, Brainiac sentry on Krypton or in Kandar, and he's the freaking word of the voice of Rao. That is big stuff. So now, to all you guys who theorize that maybe the voice of Rao had something to do with Brainiac, now he officially does. We can 100% say that he does. I think this makes things remarkably interesting, because Brainiac is going to have a hold on one of the most powerful people, or at least the parasite will, and will start uploading God knows what kind of data to Brainiac, and by the time he gets there, with the voice of Rao being taken over, things are going to be very, very looking bad for Krypton. And I thought that was a very interesting, much needed twist in this episode, because I was worried that there wasn't too much going on, and then I kind of found the Ranklish initiative bit quite interesting. I found the Rom's daughter part sweet, but I was still thinking, okay, this episode needs to do something, and they did that with the voice of Rao getting taken over. So what I will say about this episode, guys, is that I did actually quite enjoy it. And not that I didn't any of the previous ones, but I feel like by episode 4, something needs to start developing. If the other episodes aren't doing a lot for most people. I feel like if episode 4 didn't include that ending, then I feel like it still would have been a good episode, but compared to just them all being more or less just as interesting, I would have felt like Krypton would maybe start to get on the stale side of things route already, with not much potential hope. I feel like a lot of people would start dipping out the show by now. But now that's happened, it has kept my interest peaked, so I still think that Krypton deserves a much needed watch and shot to keep things very much so interesting. And don't forget that we've still got Brainiac coming, we've now got a voice of Rao. In fact, we've got Saygo at the end of the episode just wandering, I guess, towards the fortress. But yeah, good episode, guys. I would love to know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this review and breakdown. If you did, leave a like on the video, as it really does show your support for the channel. And if you're new to this channel, I do cover Krypton, obviously, so why not subscribe for more videos like this, and be sure to check out some of my other comic book nerdy covering stuff. Of course, I want to say thank you to all of my patrons popping up on the screen around here. If you want to become a patron yourself, just like these guys, head over to the top link in my description and maybe check out some of the tiers. You might like 1 or 2 of them, or maybe just 1 of them, and become a patron yourself, just like these guys did. So thank you so much for checking that page out. If you guys want to stay a little bit more up to date with me personally, you can do so by following me on Twitter or Instagram. Those 2 are my most active. Links popping up on the screen around here or in the description below. Just click on one of those links. Other than that, guys, I think that is mainly everything. Of course, I do have a Discord server. We talk about everything, Krypton included. Join that, why not? The invite to that server is in the description as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.